name is Levi Lascsak. I have a business partner, Travis Plumb. That's right. I think you're cheering, right? Hopefully. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Y'all keep coming up towards the front. So, my name is Levi Lascsak. I'm in Dallas, Texas, and we started a YouTube channel in December of 2020. So think about this. Not even at 2 years. We're right at the 20-month mark. So started a YouTube channel. In 2020, we sold 0 homes. In Q1 of 2021, sold 0 homes. And launched this YouTube channel December of 2020. Okay, had to make a transition. I won't share too much of the backstory, but I had to make a transition during COVID because COVID shut down my financial services business. I worked with all the teachers on retirement planning at schools. So when all the schools shut down, my business stopped. And there was no end in sight as far as when are schools gonna come back, when is the world gonna come back, when is travel gonna happen again. So I had to pivot and make a move. Anybody know Michael Reese? Say aye. Aye. Okay. So I sold gym memberships with Michael Reese at Bally Total Fitness 20 years ago, all right? So that's how far we go back. I knew Michael before he got into real estate. I remember the weekend he came back and he met Jay Kinder at the lake, and he came back to Bally Total Fitness and was like, I'm getting into real estate. So that meeting changed his life. He got licensed in 2002, and I was kind of like, all right, well, good luck with that. I just never really aspired to be a real estate agent. So finally, after 20 years, he finally recruited me to EXP, right? No, that's the thing. He was talking to me. We've always stayed in contact and been friends, and I've definitely watched his success. But I knew how hard he worked as well. And this is the case with all agents, right? They work very, very hard in the beginning to get their business off the ground. So whenever I was looking to make a shift into real estate, because here comes Michael again. Hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm your co-teacher.
Oh, hey.
Jill.
Hey, Jill. Levi, good to meet you.
Good to meet you.
All right.
Is this fun? Excellent. Look, we just improv.
There you go. Awesome. So, so I was just kind of telling the story, and then I'll hand the mic over to you. So the thing is that here he comes back to me, really starts talking to me about the EXP model. So that's what intrigued me first. And I thought, okay, well, if I'm going to make the move into real estate over 2020, of course, he sat there and watched real estate start to grow in 2020. So the thing was, though, is I was 41 years old. And I was like, how do I start over without starting over? That was my big question. And I was very concerned to move into real estate because I've had a successful career for the last 18, 20 years. And not only starting over without starting over, how do you do that? But I was also concerned about, would I not be successful? Because here you look at Michael and Jay and all these other people that have been in the game for 15, 20 years, super successful. And I was like, I got to start over again. So I had to just ask myself different questions, which was, first of all, how do I attract business? If I like the business model of agent attraction, and that's what kind of sparked my interest for EXP, well, can you do that in real estate as well? Can you attract business? But then how do you do that with no brand, no name, nothing, starting out from scratch, and can you generate business quickly? And so I had to ask myself these different questions, which is, all right, also, what has put me in a position over the last 20 years that I'm in this position now, right? And what I realized too is that I never scaled myself. I've been on sales for 20 years, but it's been one-on-one sales. I've always met with a client. I've always talked to them face by face. And that's what I loved, but I've had 3 major setbacks in my life that put me back to 0. And what I had to realize was, okay, the thing is everything was dependent upon me. And so as soon as you take me out of the equation, or an outside force like COVID, takes schools out of the equations, then your business stops. So if I was going to move into real estate, I also did not want to be a one-to-one type of agent. Nothing wrong with that at all, but I wanted something different. It's like, how do you scale yourself, and how do you reach a majority of people, and how can I do this in the shortest time frame? So I had to also ask myself, where's the gap in the market? If there's a way to get into real estate, how am I going to compete in Dallas, Texas with people that have been agents for 10, 15, 20 years? Some of the biggest brokers are in Dallas, Texas. I see their signs everywhere. How am I going to compete with them? So I knew that would be through social media, but I looked at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. None of those really set well with me. Who's 40 and above in here? Say, okay. So we've got this love-hate relationship with social media, right? Yeah. We didn't grow up with it. Wasn't there in high school. Wasn't there in college. Probably came around when you were around 25, 28. 30, and what did you say? Oh, it's everybody posting their lunch, silly cat videos, and everyone's just bragging about themselves, right? Their perfect life. So we have this love-hate relationship, so we kind of, poo-poo it until we see the 20 and the 30-year-olds start to make money, and then we're going, okay, maybe there's something here, so now I've got to force myself into social media. Well, the thing is I looked at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. None of them really fit well with my personality. And then I realized when I looked at YouTube, it's not a social media platform, it's a search engine. And so if people are going there and searching for information, you can cut down the time frame for number one when they're looking to buy or sell a home, because guess what? People are on YouTube researching. So first and foremost, they're researchers. So if you understand people's intention, then you can have their attention. And so the thing is also I looked at agents on YouTube, and there really wasn't but a handful in Dallas. When you think about Dallas being one of the biggest markets, then I saw, okay, there could be a gap there. So we launched the first video December of 2020. It took 90 days to get the first deal under contract. We closed the first 2 deals in April of 2021. Now, from April of 2021, from those first 2 deals through July of 2022, and I'm just doing the calculation because I haven't calculated after that, but in that first 15 months, since then we generated 1,696 leads. Okay, that's on average about 3 to 5 per day. We did 217 transactions. So if you do a conversion rate, that's 13%, and that's just over 121 million in volume and 3.6 million in commissions. We did that in the first 15 months. And we did that organically without any ad spend. So that was just understanding YouTube, learning about it, applying the search, the optimization, because that's very important. YouTube is the number 2 search engine right behind Google. And of course, Google owns YouTube, so their search goes hand in hand. So understanding that there is a lot more than just posting a video on YouTube. The back end of it matters. The search engine optimization matters. If there's a blank when you're posting that, you post that YouTube video, for those of you that have, and you've got to fill every single one of those blanks needs to be filled out. YouTube has it for a reason. Think about it. The algorithm is nothing more than just reading words and letters. So if you spell it out, what your video is about, that's what actually tells YouTube to be able to match that with people that are searching for that information. So if you just post a YouTube video and you put 123 Main Street, or you feature a house or something like that, guess what? Nobody's typically specifically searching that exact address or that exact home. And then if you don't fill in the back end, all the other blanks that go along with YouTube, that doesn't communicate to YouTube what your video is about either. So if you look at it from that standpoint, you've posted videos on YouTube and they've gone nowhere, it's probably because the back end wasn't optimized. It could also be because of the thumbnail, because we're visual creatures, so thumbnails on YouTube absolutely matter. And that's about 70% of the battle. Think about it, when you log onto YouTube, what's the first thing you see? A page full of thumbnails. So what are you going to do? You're going to scan all those thumbnails, and your eyes can process an image in 0.7 of a second. So you'll look at all those thumbnails, and whatever one interests you, then you're going to shift and look at the title, right? And if that title applies to what you're looking for, then you'll likely click on that video, watch it from there, and then once you do that, guess what? YouTube is the most creator-friendly platform out there, because they are going to serve more of your videos to that person. And you know this because we've all made the mistake of watching that silly cat video, and then the next thing on your feed for the next 30 to 40 days is cat videos, right? So you got to be careful what you click on YouTube. So YouTube is the most creator-friendly because its whole goal is time on platform. It wants people to stay on the platform as long as possible. So in order to do that, they're going to continually feed you videos that they believe you're going to watch based on what you've clicked on and your view duration. So if somebody watches one of your videos, and if people are researching to move or to buy or sell a home in your area, and they watch one video, guess what? That's all you need for YouTube to trigger that. Now, hopefully, when they watch that second one and that third one, then they're locked in, right? They start to develop a relationship with you. And the reason we've been able to do so much business is, number one, if I pulled up the channel right now, I could tell you we're getting probably about 150 views at this moment. So this is the concept that we like to say, we like to call it passive prospecting. because we make one YouTube video and that video continually prospects for us nonstop 24/7. And actually to the tune of right now, first of all, how many of you could contact 130 people in 1 hour? Be very difficult to do, right? But I'm here at this conference right now reaching 130 people, and it's on their terms. They're watching the channel when they want to watch it. So that's very important because now they're finding the videos on their own. YouTube's feeding them videos. Once they get caught up in the cycle, that they're going to develop a relationship with you through video. So whenever people call you, they've already made the decision that they want to work with you. And that's a complete game changer because out of all that business, we've made 0 outbound calls. I haven't talked to a friend or family member. They ask, what do you do? And I'm like, I'm in real estate. And they're like, okay, cool. Never dig any deeper from there. But you just allow the videos to build the relationships, and whenever they call you, they're ready to do business with you. And that's the great opportunity there through that. Because of the long form content, people will consume multiple videos. They're in research. Think about this. Moving is one of the biggest stressors in life. So people are going to take time. And now they say that nobody has an attention span these days, which is why you have to be a dancing real estate agent on TikTok if you want to do any business from social media, but that's not the case. Our average view duration on YouTube is, if you average all of it out, is about 8 minutes. So think about that, average view duration around 8 minutes. So that tells us people have the attention spans and they're willing to consume content whenever they're in that mode. And when they're on YouTube, they're in the mood to consume long form content. That's why they're there, right? 70% of the searches are how to or what does. That's how they start out, which is why we name a lot of our videos, what does 300K get you in Frisco, Texas, right? Because that's what people actually search. So that's a little bit about us. We'll open up to Q&A. So again, the question, what video should we make? So I'm gonna take a 180 approach. The reason we didn't do things I was interested in, which I do think there's a place for that, at least from our strategy. Our strategy was the fact that I had 0 brand and 0 name. Nobody's searching Levi Lascsak on YouTube. Nobody's searching Levi Lascsak's home selling team. So we went with what was search-based content because that's the beauty of Google and YouTube. They will tell you what people are searching. And so it's simply looking up what is the most searched terms or neighborhoods or suburbs in your area and start there. So what we always recommend people to do is take your suburbs and actually find the search volume on each suburb and then rank them in order of the most searched suburb because that's where the most eyeballs are at the time. And your favorite suburb may not be the most searched. Now, there's 2 sides of that coin. If you really love your area and you can talk about it, 15 hours a day, then yes, that's a different video. But just realize if it's the least searched in your area or not as searched as the other ones, it might, if the goal is to make the phone ring, which our only goal was can we make the phone ring? So we took a very strategic and intentional approach. So I never said, okay, well, what I'm interested in, other people may not be interested in, right? So I want to find what they're searching first. I'll make content that they're searching for that's going to give us opportunity to be found sooner rather than later. So if that's a particular suburb, and anytime I've done this exercise with somebody, their potential suburb or the one that they like the most or they think is the most popular may not be the most searched. So think about that as well. If you want to grab attention and draw a crowd quickly, look where the search volume is. And so there's 4 main styles that we always recommend. Vlog tours, which are actually going out in the neighborhoods. This can be simple. The thing is anybody can go online and look on Zillow and Realtor and look at the inside and the outside of a house. That's easy. What they can't see is they can't see the home next door. They can't see the home across the street. They can't see the playground down the street, the community center, that there's a Chipotle right outside the gates. All right, awesome. So that is actually taking them out in the community and walking around. This is the same thing you do with a client whenever they say, hey, can you take me around and show me some homes? Well, you do that. The problem is going back to the, everything lives and dies with you. When you go home at the end of the day, that conversation has lived and died with that one client. And what do you have to do? You have to start over and do it all over again. So what if you stayed an extra hour or 2 after that last house? As long as it's still daylight outside and you actually walked around the neighborhood and you had a conversation with that camera just the same as you would with that client right next to you. Well, now when you publish that, now you're giving me the opportunity for 10 people, 100 people, 1,000, 10,000 people to see that exact same conversation that you just had with one person that will never resurface ever again whenever it's in, you know, your car or at that house or something like that. So all you're doing, all video is communication and sales at scale. So you're taking what you do every single day and you're giving yourself an opportunity to not only be found by a bigger audience, but an opportunity to give yourself a break and to be here and focus on here versus worried about generating business, because I know that our channel right now is generating phone calls right now. So I'm not concerned about being here. I can be present here. So vlog tours, map tours. You know, this is something else that Jill mentioned, like stories. The thing is anybody can go online and look at Dallas, Texas, and look at the map. They can see that. They can Google, you know, from Dallas to the airport. They can do that, but they don't have your perspective and your stories and your experiences that, hey, yeah, Google may tell you it's 20 minutes, but it's really about 38, you know, whenever it comes down to it. Or if you take this side road or you go here, and if you move over here, you've got this. So even just walking people around on a map, you'd be surprised. Very, very popular. People love that. Pros and cons, very simple. You know, may sound cheesy, but people want to know what the good and the bad is of living in an area. So that's something else that you can do. And then also list videos. List videos, which is top 5 neighborhoods, top 5 suburbs. Now, some people say, okay, how do I list that out without steering people? Well, you just base the information off of somewhere else, right? Hey, according to this website, or according to recent data, or you know, this story came out, or this news article came out. If you've never done this, you know, you can go type in Google Alerts, and set up, put in your city and state and real estate afterwards. So every single day, and you can set it for if you're a morning person or an evening person. So if I put in Dallas, Texas real estate, every single day, Google sends me a list of 3 to 4 articles every day that got published about Dallas, Texas real estate. I can easily read through those. Those are all video ideas. You know, they're all information. You know, I can go on to niche.com or to, you know, other websites and find rankings of suburbs. And so if it's not our opinion and we're not steering people, we can simply make videos saying, hey, according to this recent study, this recent article, according to this website, here's the top 5 suburbs or the top neighborhoods. And then you can, you know, tell what you like or what you don't like about that.
So you've got over 17,000 YouTube subscribers.
Yep.
First of all, how did you get that following in under 2 years? And how are you turning views into phone calls? What's the call to action?
I mean, the subscribers is, it's organic. So, I mean, I think being searchable, the thing is now it took us about a year to be a searchable or a featured channel. So now if people search living in Dallas, Texas, like our channel will pop up as a preferred channel. So that takes probably, at least in what we found, a year to do that, because you got to have the content and the library to do that. I think just for us, I can say the subscriber count is very consistent. It's usually between 25 to 35 a day is what we see on subscribers. But it didn't start out that way. But the thing is that the reason we turn views or turn that into calls is because I had a plan from the very beginning. So this is the thing, is before you make videos, have an understanding about how do you want to make that video. What do you want to have a call to action? Do you want to let people know? There's a difference between being salesy and also letting people know that you sell real estate. And so we always lead with value in the video, but we have certain calls to action in the video to tell people, hey, look, you know, if you're thinking about making a move, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or schedule a Zoom call in the description below. Happy to help you make a smooth move to Dallas. But the thing is that we also say at the beginning of every video, if this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything about living in Dallas, Texas, then subscribe below. Tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to learn about the current market in Dallas. So see, one thing, a pet peeve of mine that I would say is that when people say, hey, subscribe to my channel so you know whenever I drop a new video. But what value does that actually provide to somebody, especially if it's the first time on their channel? What do you mean every time you drop a new video? What does that actually mean? What are your videos about? You know, if it's your name, they have to understand all of that. So the fact is, if anybody's searching for that, they're going to see our channel. They're going to see the channel is about living in Dallas. So they're researching that topic. So they see that there's a whole channel dedicated to that. Then they watch a video and we say, look, if you want to be the first to learn about the current market in Dallas, that's why you should subscribe. So we're giving them a value-driven statement as well and an incentive to subscribe, right? Makes them feel like they've got the inside track and they're going to know about everything in Dallas, and that's why they should subscribe. So that's the only thing I can account to that. Now, of course, today we'll get a spike in subscribers because half of you will go on the channel and subscribe. So as you gain a little bit more attention, I mean, there's going to be some addition to that, but I think it all feeds into each other. But otherwise, it was just continually asking for the business or asking for the subscriptions and then letting people know that they can reach out.
So I have a YouTube channel and I started pretty heavily in it. And but that's besides the story. I'm a single agent and I do a lot of transactions. I'm an art major, film photography, producing consistently every week. Thinking about the content, writing the script, editing, putting it all together, doing all the research with the keywords, all of that. If I just did that by myself, I'd be very successful at that, but my business would kind of, I wouldn't be a realtor. So, is there a service out there, reputable, or that you know that we could hire, where they could put together this program for us, where we could use them as like a subcontractor, because in-house it's just too difficult.
I use our company.
Which is your company?
If you go to passiveprospecting.com.
Passiveprospecting.com?
Yeah.
Is that your company?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, passiveprospecting.
Yes. Well, so the thing is, we started working with a lot of agents because I understand, I've never edited a single video. I knew from the start that that was not something I was interested in. It's not something I'm good at. And it would take me, 10 hours. I mean, you got to come to the reality too, guys, that you got to hire out for things that, number one, if you're not interested in it, it's not going to get done. I would have quit after one video if I had to edit my own videos on top of that. So that was something, never had a marketing budget, but had an editing budget from the very beginning. And if there is an agent down to their last $3,000, I would say hire a video editor and make as much content as you can, because I believe with that, you can turn over business within 90 days, I would say.
You can work with local colleges. I know that there, like in Austin, we've got multiple colleges and graduate students, so there are often a lot of editing help that we get from.
Yeah, you can find a lot of services out there, and you can go on Fiverr, Upwork, these types of things. I mean, but a lot of times they don't know much about optimization, so that's where you'll need that additional. So, but we do all of that.
So YouTube for Dummies here. What is the best place to find out what the most search terms are? Like what's trending?
Yeah, we use the software called TubeBuddy. TubeBuddy, so TUBE buddy.com. So that'll tell you the search volume. So that's the thing is, like Plano, Texas is a suburb of Dallas. If you search on Google, it gets like 90,500 searches per month, but on YouTube, it gets 834,000 searches a month. So that's 10 times the search volume on YouTube, which also told me from the very beginning that people are going to YouTube to research suburbs. When they're thinking about moving, who wants to read a blog on that, right? I mean, they want to go and they want to see videos about the area, the neighborhoods, and all that.
There is a Google plugin. You can, my husband just plugged it into my, that comes up with search terms on a regular basis. So explore Google plugins.
We always recommend an organic strategy. So we don't recommend pumping ads to YouTube channels. Now, again, it's your channel. You can experiment with that. We've worked with other channels that have done that. I've never really seen a really great return from that, for the fact that if you run ads to your YouTube channel, number one, it's going to pump up subscribers and it's going to pump up views. It's very easy. You run an ad to a video, I mean, it could shoot up. But the thing is that the right person? Is that the right person? Because they're going to push it out to people that kind of fit that model. But if they're not even thinking about moving, then is it really going to provide them value in the first place? So for us, we'd rather just let it be slow and steady. You will hit a compound effect. So it'll be always slow in the beginning, and then once you build that momentum, as long as you stay consistent on content, you'll ramp up. So we don't recommend running ads. Which video converts the best? the funny thing is we've always asked people, you know, and nobody's could ever really give us a certain video unless they just named like a neighborhood, you know, like, oh, we wanted to move to that neighborhood. So ultimately they get them. It's just like if you show more than 6 homes in a day, people just, it all gets meshed together. People will binge watch the videos. And so they have never really told us specifically, but I can only go by view counts. I mean, the view counts on our most popular videos are the ones we typically screwed up. So, which was, it was just funny.
I do have a question, but if I could just comment on what you both said just then. I do a fair amount of video in my market. Also, individual videos won't convert into business. Think about it like each individual video is an ingredient in the dish that you're trying to serve people, and that dish is sort of like your personal brand. It's what's left behind in their memory of you when you're not there, and that's what converts. It's because they watch them over and over, and they just know the one on YouTube. It's not each individual thing. It's just, it creates top of mind awareness. It's like they close their eyes and take real estate, and they see the golden arches of hamburgers, and it's the one that's always on video. So it's not each individual one. Anyway, sorry. I was an idiot and started doing a bunch of video like 10 years ago. I got really deep into a couple hundred episodes of a question and answer real estate show where the local market sent in stuff and I would answer it. It's very infotainment, it's high energy, it does pretty well. But I exclusively house it on Facebook. And so there's like a couple hundred of them. And now I'm building a YouTube channel. I acquired a local, not acquired, I got a local agency of record to do that part for me just because I don't know enough about it algorithmically. I'm battling between, because we got stuff that goes back like 6 or 8 years, so I'm battling between uploading certain amounts of content, like a season, and pairing it with old stuff and new stuff, and what the balance between the two of them is to get the right amount of traction as I build the YouTube channel from start with pre-existing inventory of like already produced content. Any idea?
Was that a question as far as?
I don't know how.
So you're taking old videos from Facebook and you're gonna start adding those to the YouTube channel.
Well, I'm building a YouTube channel. I have a question and answer show called the Ask Jason
Yep.
Show. And my name is Jason, not Jim, that would be weird. And I'm building a channel with all of that content. But I've got enough, there's like a couple of hundred of them. I'm just wondering, because I'm still creating that same amount of content twice a week. So I need to get the old stuff up, but I can't just wait a year for all of the old stuff to get up, and then I'm always behind and there's no current videos. So I'm wondering.
How old are these 8-year-old videos?
Maybe 6.
I mean, I think what I'd probably do is I'd remake them. I mean, if you're going to post them on YouTube, I would remake them and also look at everything that question was and readjust that question that coincides with the searchable asset on YouTube. I mean, that's what I would do. I was just thinking from a standpoint that I looked a lot different 8 years ago. So if you start uploading new content and then uploading 8 years old content, where I don't know. You have to answer that question. I might get confused if I come to the channel and I can clearly tell there's an 8-year-old video that just got uploaded, and so that's why I would just remake it, unless you're doing it with clients.
No, well, the agency of record that I have doing it, they said, let's do per week, we'll do 3 videos. We'll do 1 new one and 2 old ones from a previous season. And then your archive gets built while you're still current. But I don't know enough about the program to know if that makes sense.
Quick thing on a thumbnail. Thumbnail has 3 main parts, and whenever you look at a picture, if you've ever heard of the rule of thirds, or if you haven't heard the rule of thirds, then just Google that, and that's how you should position a thumbnail. Ultimately, your face would take up about 1/3 of that. Now, that may seem very awkward when you're making it because your face is going to be giant, but you have to think about somebody looking at it on something as small as a mobile phone. So you want that brand recognition, and that is you and that is your face. So if your face takes up 1/3 of that, then the other 2/3 is going to be something very visual in the background. And the best thumbnail has no text, but ideally no more than 3 words. You want to have it, it needs to be clickbaity. I mean, think about it. Go stand in line at the grocery store and look at a magazine cover. It's clickbait, right? It wants you to pick it up. So look at the headlines on there. 2 or 3 words, bold, eye-catching. Now, you want to deliver that in your video, so make sure that your clickbait is accordingly. But second question, in the intro, yes, every single thing you say ties into SEO. So YouTube transcribes your videos. Now, whether you see that or not, they transcribe it on the back end. That's what communicates. So whenever I say, so if you want to know everything there is about living in Dallas, Texas, every single intro, that is getting logged in YouTube's algorithm as a living in Dallas, Texas video. So every time we do that, it's in our description. So we have what we call our default description, and then we have our custom description. So a default description is that you can do this in the back end of YouTube, is on the upload defaults. You can do the bottom half of your description, which is the same on every single video. So that's like your anchor. And then every single video, we have a custom description that we put on top of that. And that custom description describes what that video is about. That way, we don't have the same thing for Dallas and Frisco and Plano and these other suburbs, right? You don't want that to be the same. So if somebody reads the top half of a description, that's going to be unique. That's going to communicate to YouTube. And it also gives information to that viewer as well. But the bottom half will be pretty much the same on every single video. That also saves us the time of, typing that stuff in, copying, pasting every time. You can set it as a default. But yes, everything you say in the video is transcribed, and ultimately that's what an algorithm reads. It reads words and letters. So as you talk, that you want to be mindful about what you say as well.
Levi, what's your YouTube channel?
Just search Living in Dallas, Texas.
Living in Dallas, Texas. Okay.
Yep.
What's your anchor description?
Anchor description? So it's pretty much the call to action. So if this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is about living in Dallas, Texas, subscribe below, tap the bell for, and we go from there.
Really quick question. So I do have how do you solve this problem of multi-languages, right? Like if you do videos on multi-languages on your channel, right? Like.
Oh, the question of multi-languages?
Yeah. Do you just combine them with one channel or you separate?
So this would be my recommendation. And again, everything I say is always a recommendation. So ultimately you got to do what works for you, experiment, and I think it depends on the market you want to capture. If you speak Spanish and you speak Spanish, you're only going to capture the Spanish market. Now, if you speak English, guess what? Spanish people typically pick up Spanish accents. Or you just put on your banner, si habla español, or you say that in your description. Hello, my name is Levi. By the way, si habla español, and then I go on. So just by saying that in the intro of your video, you'll capture the English and the Spanish market. And so it depends on who do you want to serve, and if you want to serve both markets.
Can you combine them in the same channel, like English and
Subtitle.
Yeah, you're going to have different playlists.
Yeah, is it like too much or that's what I'm like.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I would, if I don't speak Spanish, and I'm not saying you're Spanish, I'm just using that as an example. I'm just saying if I went there and I come across a Spanish video, I'm going to likely immediately assume it's a Spanish channel, and I could jump, So that it's a fine line. I think if you just mention it and people will call you.
Suggested.
I'll stay.
Suggested equipment.
Yeah, iPhone.
Just an iPhone.
Yeah.
Do you find your videos are attracting
What's that?
mostly out-of-town buyers, or are you attracting people?
Well, it's definitely a lot more local traction now. So, but in the beginning, you do. We're in Dallas. We're in a high relocation market, but
Right.
you'd be surprised. Even California. California actually had net migration, even though everyone assumes people are moving out. There's still a lot of people moving in there. But the thing is there's zero competition, in my opinion, on YouTube. And if anybody calls you from out of town, you're their person,
Yeah, I have a channel, just a couple videos, and all of them so far have been out of town, but I don't know if some of the videos you're doing you're finding are attracting more in-town people, or...
We get it now more, yeah.
Okay.
It's a lot more, get stopped around town a lot more. That people are watching, so they're simmering in there, yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
All right, so you
But
attribute it
typically,
to
yeah,
certain
people in
content.
Dallas are not going to go to YouTube to learn about Dallas, right?
Right,
I mean,
yeah,
they're
that
not
makes
really
sense.
going to research, and they instead of they're going to probably just go drive to the area.
Right.
So yeah, so in the initial, but for us, we love relocation because they're intentional, they're decision makers. I mean, a lot of times they buy online before they'll put something under contract before they even get into town.
Yeah.
And then whenever they come into town, we typically get everybody under contract the first weekend.
Okay.
Like, I mean, and sometimes actually our average contact under contract is 47 days.
Okay.
That's how fast people get under contract.
Right.
Because whenever they call in, they're researching, they're in the buying process because
Right.
they're on YouTube. So this is not like the other platforms that are, the other platforms, I mean, nobody says, hey, honey, it's time to buy a house. Let's go to Facebook and see what's on the market, you know?
Right,
Or let's go to TikTok and see if we can find the best dancing real estate agent, right? So they say, hey, it's time to move. Let's go onto YouTube, do some research.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, well, here's this guy.
It seems nice.
Yeah.
Seems like he knows what he's talking
Yeah.
about. Give him a call. Yeah.
Levi, how much time are you spending each day, and what's the frequency?
So video is the true 4-hour work week.
Okay, thanks.
And I spend probably less than 2 hours a week making videos.
How many do you put out a week then? at this
3
point?
videos a week, yeah.
Great, really?
Yeah.
And this passive prospecting, that's a video editing company?
Well, that's our website, but we have video editing services on there. Yeah, so just click on the video editing services and you'll see.
Good
job.
So do they set up your YouTube channel and all of that?
We can, yeah.
Like I hired a company that did mine, but I just was wondering if you guys can just
Yeah.
clean it up.
Yep.
Okay.
We can.
So I'll just connect with you. I connected with you on
Yep.
Instagram.
I saw, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Levi, I see
Yeah.
that you're predominantly the face of your channel.
Yep.
I have a team, and I want to start getting my team out there more because I want the leads to be more
Yep.
so for the team. Would it be confusing to have 3 or 4 different people?
I don't talk to any clients.
Okay. But would it be confusing to have them on the channel
Nope.
as far as being an agent?
I don't think so. I think you want to do that when your channel is more established. And so I waited about almost a year and a half and then started to incorporate a few team members, and their videos did just as well. So that told me that the audience was established at that point. And as long as the content's in line, then it'll still be just as successful. But I did that on purpose because if I ever want to step out and stop making content, I want to see if the channel will survive with other people making content. Or you can sell a YouTube channel. It's a sellable asset. It's a digital asset you can transfer ownership with. So I also wanted to prove that if I ever wanted to exit or if you wanted to sell the channel, then it can still be successful without me. Yeah, so absolutely. But I would definitely build it up, build the culture and the look of the channel, and then once you have that established, which you'll know when the right time is, then I would incorporate a team member too. And then also make sure they're good on camera, they're personable, they represent the brand, and hopefully they'll be with you for a little while as well. Yeah, you're welcome.
Quick question, are you promoting your YouTube channel on any other
Nope.
social platforms?
Never.
So you just put the
Yeah.
content there and it through
So if you'll
SEO?
notice, have you ever clicked on a YouTube video from Instagram or TikTok and it's on mute and you're signed out?
Right.
Yeah, so it would be, so what happens is if you go from Instagram or LinkedIn or Facebook to a YouTube channel, you're not signed in, you try to like it and it says please sign in, so it's not tracking anything. But I believe in platform psychology, which means if somebody's on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, and I post a YouTube video there, they're gonna go there, they're gonna watch it. First of all, they won't be signed in, then they're gonna say, oh, this is a 25-minute video, I ain't got time to watch that.
Right.
I'm sitting here in the line, Chick-fil-A line, just killing time. So I also don't think it's the right person. So we want to find people that are on YouTube, searching the information, doing that, because the thing is that sharing it to the other platforms, I mean, it's
Yeah, it's a dead end
yeah.
most of the time. Okay, cool.
So,
Thank you. Appreciate
yep.
your time.
Fast question. So I'm
Yep.
getting ready to start doing videos,
Uh-huh.
and I see your most popular one is 28 minutes.
Yeah.
So the question is there a good place to start if you're starting new, as far as length of time?
Video should be as long as it needs to be, but ideally I would say in between 10 to 20 minutes is really ideal, as a sweet spot. But the thing is a 15-minute video is really just 3 5-minute videos edited together, or 5 3-minute videos edited together. So even in that video is 28 minutes. But what happened is we were talking about what we don't like about Dallas. We just had a list posted up by the camera, and we were sitting there talking, and you talk about one bullet point for 2 to 3 minutes, and then you stop. And the thing is all that gets edited together. In between, all that stuff gets chopped out. So you don't notice that stuff as a viewer you know, and so really we're just making 3-minute videos on 5 different topics. You got a 15-minute video.
Appreciate it. Okay,
Yep.
I'm gonna grab your scan and I'll run away. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
I don't even know what this is for, but I guess it.
No, me neither. I
don't think it works.
Hey,
What's
Levi,
up?
I said I've been to talk to you for like 2 years now. Okay, I see you all the time. Build, eXpCon, all that stuff. Watch all your channels. Love
Thank you.
it. I'm a military spouse. Been PCS, you know. So again, was North Carolina, now in Virginia. Started my business over there for the
Awesome.
last 2 years. So I'm launching my channel December 2nd because of you. Because of you. But video editing. I know you said. I don't like it. I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it. What's the best way? Like, again, I know you have your programmer stuff, but just like starting out when you have like a smaller budget, like how do you like?
I mean, you could
I
find
look at
somebody
Fiverr
very
out
cheap.
there,
Yeah.
But like with the B-roll content, okay? Like I want someone to look at my video and say, oh, you're PCS in Quantico, Virginia. Now what? I want someone to be like, boom, Quantico, Virginia. I'm putting that in there. Or hey, I-95 traffic. I don't want traffic from San Diego. You know, I don't want them to put some video of San Diego in there. I want it to be like I-95 Virginia traffic. So it's like relatable to the content. So somebody from Fiverr, they're not going to have that. You know, they're not going to be able to. I don't feel like they're going to look at that.
Well, there's a lot of stock footage. They can find it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But
do your people that do it for your program, like how does that work? I mean, you just get them, they do it all? Like they do editing,
turn everything.
'Cause,
They
like,
do
I have,
tags,
like,
titles,
somebody,
thumbnails.
You know, and mine's called Quantico Living because it's Quantico. That's where we're stationed at. That's my niche is military.
I like that banner. Looks good.
Is it good?
Yep.
So I did that. But again, it's like I'm trying to get everything set up to like launch. I'm trying to do 9 videos before I do that.
Yep.
So, I mean, what's the best advice you can give for like, I mean, really just starting out, lower budget. I mean, I'm an Icon agent. I've done all this stuff, but I'm so nervous about video.
Yeah.
Good acting classes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen up.
Because like literally, like I can show you my camera roll that I like took 1 million, like you just said videos, okay? So my first video, I literally have all these on here, you know, again, but I feel so dumb like when I have it. I have them ready to go though, but I like what you just said, put it into like 5 3-minute videos or 3 5-minute videos, but like again, I have this, but it's like a plain background, it's kind of like meh.
Yeah, dude, can we move to the back? Let's move to the back. I have a question. Okay, we're gonna just move to the back though.
I signed up for a call with your company.
Okay.
25th. What do I expect? What should I expect when I do that call? I want to learn about your service.
Okay. Well, they'll talk you through it. So you sign up for a call for video editing?
For the whole package.
Okay.
Well, that's what I want.
Okay. Well, if you get on if you book the webinar call, I do that.
So it's like, I booked something. I booked, let's see. I think maybe it's you. Passive prospect.
But nobody's at my door right now. Well, see, so.
So I looked at the real agents.
Is that with you?
Pretty talented there.
Oh, yeah.
Taking pictures and scootering.
That's for video editing.
Well,
So
I want the entire thing.
okay.
So what do I do now?
So go back to the website.
What's your website?
So yeah, passiveprospecting.com.
Passive or passive?
Passive.
Passive.
Yeah, passiveprospecting.com.
They're out there looking like type in on Facebook like the name of the city that you live in, and then videographers group. Or so like if you're from Dallas, like we're from Dallas, we have a DFW photographer and videographers group on Facebook, and there's probably thousands of really talented people in there. So people will go in there and they'll post like I'm looking for a wedding videographer.
That
and, like,
website.
20
So
people will post like their portfolio and like their availability. So I would recommend that for looking for local talent.
I like the camera, I have the you know.
So if you go here, if you want to jump on my next call,
I do.
Okay, so that's where you'll book there.
Thank you.
Is that like a master class or something?
Well, so I do a webinar. I'll do a webinar next Monday. So
Within
we
EXP World?
No, I just do it on my own. Yeah, I mean we've done talks inside EXP, but So we have a full course. The course will walk you through absolutely everything, and then we offer the video editing. So what would happen is that people started to go through the course and they'd get stuck trying to find an editor and everything. So we ended up expanding the team we had and working that. So we offer, it's a full turnkey service. So they'll do your tags, titles, thumbnails, SEO, everything. All you got to do is film the content.
It's like I love doing the thumbnails and all that stuff. That's easy.
Yeah.
But the video editing, it's just, you know, when it gets down to it, it's like I don't want to learn how to do it. I want to sell houses.
No,
I want to do the videos. I don't mind doing that. But like when you just upload the content, say to your video editors, you just upload that and they just do it. They put all the B-roll stuff in there and do it.
Yep.
You don't have to tell them like, oh, when I say Quantico, put in a picture of Quantico. They just find it all.
Yep.
So that's what I need. I just need someone to do it all.
And that's the team that you built up, or they were already experienced? Are you guys experimenting?
Well, they know. We train them before they come on our team. We train them how to do what we do. So if you like our style of video and how they're edited, then that's what they'll do for you.
No, but that's what I mean. When you started, this team was not there. You built it up.
No, so Chrissy, who's still with me. I've worked with Chrissy for 4 years. She worked for me before I got into real estate. She just can do everything. Every time I ask her, can you do this? She's like, yeah, I can do that. Blah, blah. And then, so I asked her, I was like, hey, can you edit? I was like, can you edit videos? And she's like, yeah, I can edit videos. So she started out editing all the videos for us. And then as we started to build out the course, then we needed to sub her out because we needed her for other things. And so we're like, okay, well, let's find an editor to replace her. And so we found that editor, and when we found them, then we were like, people kept coming back to us and loved the course, learned everything, but I can't find and it's hard to find reliable, good people.
I send something to Fiverr, and I'm like, hey, this is what I'm looking for. Yeah. And then it's like, okay.
Yeah, I know.
It's not expensive.
Well, we just sent a project there, and we're on our third person because the first two, after a week, we can't get them to do shit, and it's like.
Or like you have to tell them like, hey, I need this and this. Like as a military spouse, you have a military background. It's just hard to get readjusted to a new area and doing things like that. So, but really thank you for all the stuff that you're doing.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Seriously, we love hearing you.
Yeah, thank you for this course. I'm terrified of Facebook and TikTok and Instagram. I feel it's a complete waste of time, but honestly,
it's the way to go.
Can I get a picture real quick?
Yeah.
Thank you.